Hello everyone, and welcome to, well, the new frontier of the creature packs. Creature World 1, Insect. The first mega pack. I'm very happy with this one and can't wait to show you what we've got. Now this one is a lot bigger than normal. You see we have folders this time, otherwise it'll be unmanageable. 277 total parts, but I'm promoting it as about 150 parts. Because many of them are the same parts, but in different poses, and I don't want people to feel that I'm pulling one over them. So 150 base parts, and then roughly 80 variations on top of that. So when you open up the file, wherever you've downloaded it to, you just load tool. I've included a PDF guide this time as well. With a guide to all the parts, a visual guide chart to all the parts as well. Which I know some of you will appreciate because people have been asking for that. So how I like to go about playing around with this initially is Alt-click on a part, will select it. Now, first of all, in Preferences, Edit, Subtool Dimming. That's the default. So everything else is Alt, left-click on something. But I'm not very fond of that because it gives me like a... I just don't like it, so I turn that off. So everything's the same color, because I know what I've selected. This isolates. Whoops, no, that exposes. I'm an idiot. That's a good start, isn't it? This isolates. My shortcut's Control 1. Anyway, so let's start with the head. You can see everything is turned off initially. So if I press the up and down arrows on my keyboard, I can cycle through heads. But that one is still visible, so just click that, and you can, now there's only one at a time. And you can, let's start at the beginning. I'm rushing this and I shouldn't. So I've tried to put everything roughly in the correct place. But a lot of them will need some movement. If you press W, you know, to get stuff in the correct position sometimes, because it's impossible to have everything lined up from the start due to vastly different shapes of all these insects and insectoid creatures, rather, because there's some arachnid and crustacean elements as well. Right, let's quickly cycle through them. Let's make the first part just showing you what you got. So, this is considered one part. And that's the variation. All three of these heads, for example, you can see they're called head. Two heads, head O3A, head O3B. Same with the first two, actually. It's considered one base part, just slightly varied, because, you know, I thought it'd be cool to add them all. And the product is priced accordingly to about 150 parts, not 277. For what I normally charge. I'm not comparing it to other people who sell 10 million hard surface parts and you pay $5. That's ridiculous. Anyway, this is my opinion. One part. That's one head, just for the variation again. Starship Troopers. I had to add it. Why not? Bugs. This is considered one part. There's two various spider-esque heads. One part. And I'm sure I'm not going to repeat that over and over because I'll probably annoy the shit out of you. So you get the idea. If they look very similar, it's one part. Sometimes they're quite drastically different, but I still consider it one part. I don't like that one, but I thought I added it anyway. This is the better one. That looks pretty cool. And they've all been decimated. My hotkey for that button is Control 2. As much as possible, as usual, without getting rid of too much detail. Because it's 100 million, the whole scene. It was 500 million before I decimated. That's like 11 gigs, and it's just cumbersome to work with. So anytime one wants to re-dynamesh so you can sculpt one again, you simply just go to Geometry, Dynamesh. They've all been scaled down to where 16 to 40 48 to 1000 should give a good result, but I'm not going to dynamesh anything now. Let's carry on with our head journey. Same part? Well, you know what I mean. Yes, I did take this from Crawlers, but made a new one with it. I don't think that's a crime. One part, but I said I won't say that, so yeah, you know it's one part. These three actually look rather different, but they're considered one part. Because this guy, as you can see, is a mixture between previous head and this guy. That's one thing I love doing, is layering heads. You can come up, it's so cool, you can just come up with new stuff really, really quickly. You often have to move them about, but just experiment. And then once you find something you like, combine them and just go nuts. Just go nuts. Sorry, my mic stand is slowly moving away from my voice. It's really annoying. And highly unprofessional of me to leave that in the video. This is one of my favorite ones. Nice and gnarly. Variations again there. There's 41 base heads. Plus, I don't know, I think it's about 60 heads, including, if you include the variations. Heads alone. Like, these two are really similar, but I just couldn't decide between them, so I just kept both, because I like the bottom bit of his eyes. And Hercules beetle with a twist. I'll be honest, this is my least favorite head, but I'm sure it'll find a use somewhere, probably within a spider's head. I'm guessing it'll look good on a spider. I love this one too, really very alien insect. This is one of my favorites. That's an actual bug, I didn't make it up. I forgot the name of it, but it exists. And this is a variation I made from that. This is my preferred one. Less goofy and it's very alien. Another variation of that guy, just with little eyes. Nasty thing. And yeah. So let's choose that head. Why not? So we proceed. So let's go to bodies. So this one is visible. Let's turn the visibility off. Go to the top. I mean, you can do this however you like. So as you can see, the bodies are generally in the correct position. Oh, I mixed these up. Whoops, that should be there. Because that's a variety. But overall, they should be roughly... I mean, this one generally needs fat limbs to make it look good. Look good. You'll see a lot of these bodies have slots, where I'd figure people would want to slot in limbs, and there's a lot of them. A ton. If you include the varieties as well. Just slot... I mean, you don't have to. You can slot stuff in wherever the hell you like, but it's a good starting point, you know? I find ones with, like these, with the... So if you want to not make it disappear when you switch to something else, just turn it on, so go to the heads. I find that this particular one, for example, looks better with stuff hidden underneath, like that. Brilliant. I find if you've got the head there, it can look a bit silly. Or just no head at all. You know, I'm going to move it back. Alt left click on this guy. Turn off down arrow. this is a variation of that, believe it or not. It's considered one torso. This will be better for spider type, like a chunky little spider guy. This is its biped version. Excuse me. Let me adjust my mic 1 second, I'm really sorry. This guy was based on a concept piece of art. It didn't look like this at all, just the overall silhouette was a spaceship that I saw that I really liked that someone made. Apologies for not crediting the artist, can't remember the name, but anyway, it's just the silhouette, so I thought, why not turn it into a body? And the cool, so see, this will often happen when you get this, these kind of bodies. The legs don't line up, but some of the legs will, and we'll get to that in a bit. Before we get to that, this one is great for, if you press W sometimes, and you've got symmetry on, I have by default pressing X. Sometimes the gizmo is slightly, sorry. I'm holding down Alt and adjusting the gizmo the direction. That resets it. Sometimes it's slightly off, and you'll see if I rotate now, it's doing that. It's ruining the mesh. So whenever I choose something and I want to rotate it, I always just Alt-click that, because it makes sure that it's, the gizmo is oriented. See? No distortion. Let me just undo. Anyway, so this torso is great for orienting in different ways, and you can do this with all the torsos. For example, I really like using him like this. It. There we go. And you just plug stuff in there. Wings, whatever. Go absolutely ballistic. You really do all that. Okay. But yeah, otherwise this one is cool to chuck a head on there. Legs coming out here. We'll get to that. Sea creature. Crustacean based. Similar. So this one would be good to layer with a... When in doubt, move. There we go. I just press 3, it's the move brush. Just really roughly just playing around. You know, I'm not doing... So you get the idea. Undo that. Turn that off. Down arrow. Let's go on with our journey. There's 2 versions of this, the Insectoid version and then quasi-biped version. So with these, you'll have to move the other parts around. Another non-biped thing. This one's got 2 versions as well, which is here. Non-biped, biped. I've just organized them like this. Just I wanted to try and keep most of the biped torsos together, but I couldn't. Sorry, I'm adjusting my mic again. This is based on a really nasty wasp in, I think, Indonesia. This is an alternate version of this guy. So this and that is considered one part. Same with this and that is considered one part. Sorry, I'm meandering. Perfect spider body, praying mantis body. Nothing fits this guy from the get-go. You'll have to move stuff in, but that's not a problem. It's just I think it's all non-bipeds from here on. Another waspy one. This was based on also a non-animal thing. Whoops, sorry. Let's not isolate them, so this kind of spider and then nice chunky one. Full scorpion. Wow. All the other parts are available in this pack. Hercules beetle, because I love them. And a little chunky bug. So, Let's do an example of a biped body, and then what I want to use. Yeah, let's use this one. Arms. One part is just some of them are underscore example, so they're also a total. Just, you know, because I thought they looked cool, and I figured why not keep them in the pack. People will find it useful. If you ever want to double up arms quickly, you can either press Ctrl-Shift-D, and you've got another subtool. Let me delete that. Or what I often do is hold down Control, left click, and it makes a copy. This is kind of a dirty way. I actually prefer Ctrl-Shift-D to make a whole new subtool, because it's easier to isolate and, you know, work with it. I shouldn't have unselected that. So it's masked, right? If you look at the poly groups, if I click in the empty space, Control W, now it's its own poly group. So now if I hold the gizmo, left click, and Control click, you can select poly groups. So this is useful, you know, if they're in one subtool, if you want to work with them separately. But let's undo all of that. Go through the arms. Oops. This is also considered one part, even though they look quite different, but Umber Hulk type arms. Let me adjust my bloody mic. Grunt and groan. So these will, that looks silly, right? But that's because they're in position roughly for the guys we saw here at in bodies at the end. Where am I going? Let me make this big. There we go. I didn't see. I've lost them because I didn't switch them on, so to speak. There, switched on. So let's go to the bodies. Well, not perfect, but no, you actually will have to move them in. Well, let's do that. So I'm sorry that not absolutely everything lines up, but as you can imagine, it wasn't possible unless I duplicate a lot, and the file size becomes insane. Scale this down. Sorry. You don't want those to touch. Now you need a wider scorpion for this. Good old move. Yeah. For example, lovely. So it's just moving stuff really is. Anyway, I'm getting distracted again because there's so much to look at. Let's go down the list. Alrighty. Again, that's meant for the non-biped guys. Then this. So this is all four of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah, 4. It's considered one part. And the other 3 are pose variations. I'm pretty sure that'll be useful because it does take quite some time to pose them. Not insane time, but, you know, I've saved you the time to do that. Let's get my bloody mic fixed once and for all. It's a nice mic, it's just a standard crap apparently. Okay. So yeah, 2 bipeds and then 2 non-biped. There's a word for non-biped, but I don't know it. Alright. Another 2 variations of one part, and I really like this awkward, weird angle. I would love to see that animated, see how this unfolds, especially if this is like curled up completely like in a concertina way, and it just unfolds. Could look really off-putting in a good way. Another thing is generally arm 1 will correspond to leg 1, arm 2 to leg 2, roughly. That they'll have the same micro aesthetic, if that's even a word. So if you ever want, I mean, I don't really use that too often because I like mixing crazy stuff, but when in doubt, this is leg 01. It fits with, matches, with arm 01. Anyway, enough babble. So this is considered one part, this and that. Even though this one looks drastically different, you'll see later on why they're one part. And keep in mind, you can use these for legs. You don't have to be arms, it's just that's their conventional use within this pack, but you can turn them into legs, just go pose them there. And see what you can come up with. Sorry, my cursor's going mad. I'm pleased to see they're all generally in a good position. I'm gonna change my perspective a little bit. Draw 18, and it's done nothing. It's done absolutely nothing. Oh well. Onwards. I love these. No, don't autosave. There's quite a few of these types. Chunky McCrab. Another one of my favorites. So here I have 3 varieties. This is the same one, but it's more spiky. And then this one is quite different, but it's considered a variation as well. So it's bloody good value for money, if I have to say so myself. Very, very good. And I don't like to blow my own horn ever, but come on. Another variation. I really like these spindly, nasty alien one. Not alien, but very... It's from a whip spider, really. This is from the male, I think. Or is it the female? I can't remember. I love whip spiders. And this is also from a whip spider. One is male, one's female, I think. I might be wrong. Erwin, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry. I really like those. Clipping there, but you know, just adjust the legs or rotate them. Same one, just different poses. More spiky McSpike. And a scorpion claws. Love them. I mean, scorpions. They're just awesome. Again, I think 3 different poses. Yeah. This is one, and then this is just an example, because I thought it looked cool. I prefer this one with the crooked, this variety, with the crooked things. This one's got no variations. Yeah, just that, and the posed one. So here we have, maybe it's too many, but you know, I've included them anyway, because it's not too many. This is a whip spiders. Also from a whip spider in 3 poses. This fits well with humanoids. These 2 are made for, again, the non-biped guys. And this is the same ones, except they don't have those hairs like this. Those extra fibers. But it's all considered one part, so it's not like I'm trying to up the part count by, you know. Same one, just with a little thumb. Don't know how that's going to work, but it looks cool. Right, here we are at legs, so let us... That looks pretty cool. Let's choose that, whip spider arms. Go to legs. this will, you know, these two parts, and that's in 3 parts, considered one A, B, C, and examples, one part. That's obviously for the bugs of the tortoises towards the end. There we go. Again, this will be more suited to this onto the crawling guys, flying. Let's move that there. There we go. It's as easy as that. If something doesn't quite fit, just move it. Press W and move it into position. I mean, this looks a bit odd, but looks kind of cool actually. So I'm gonna Control Shift D, quickly copy it. Now, how do you rotate when it's in mirror? Just, oh, you can. Never mind. I was about to ask a stupid question. Huh. There we go. I'm not gonna bother connecting it now. I'm sure you get the idea. I'm gonna delete this guy. Yes, it's alright. Turn him off. It's just an example of those parts. Example 2, example 1. In the wrong order because I thought it would be extremely funny. So this guy is another example. It actually does work. Huh. These two are kind of meant to be a pair, but you can do what you want. Like this. Again, one part. Yeah, the legs have the most variations. And you can use these for arms, right? Just plug them in there, move them to the... like, a lot of them can go for arms. So just this one leg alone is for... there's a thing already made. Scale it up. Move it back. Another variety. Based on Borderlands' spider ants legs. Except this one's more chunky. So these can be used for arm. That's why I said earlier that one arm is the match for arm 07B, I think, is the match for these guys. An example. It's a bit small. There we go. And again, here we have 5 parts, but it's all one part, if you know what I mean. One base part with examples. They fit great with the spiders. One of the first legs I made. Well, I love them. Down a bit. There we go. These ones look great like that. There we go. An example. Biped version. Any ped version. One of my favorites. Example of that. In all these, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's considered one part. Just different. Biped version, slightly different hips, which I thought I had to include. I liked both. See, like that. Nice and alien. These legs go well with a fatter, bigger torsos. Oh, let's see. Does that look silly? But I have no... no, it looks really silly. I've included 2 versions. This one will fit. Slim version. There we go. And once it's posed, it'll look even better. When animated or whatever the hell you're going to do with it. Print it out. Really like these. Really aggressive. These look good with other chunky creatures, as you can imagine. I'm sure you've seen examples in the renders. Where's this one's other part? Oh, there it is. Ah, This should be there. How unprofessional. I prefer this one. One of my favorites. Really gnarly leg. Typical bug leg. There's a ton of these. All considered one part. Yes, I said I'm going to stop saying that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But there's varieties. And obviously they go well with the spiders. Awkward shapes. And then the biped version. This is considered one part. And to make up this. You can do what you want with it, of course, but this is for your convenience. They've imposed, and they've got slightly different details, but one part. Tarantula legs, and then an example. Preset for your convenience. Scorpion legs. Preset for your convenience. I never realized that they're generally posed like that. Which is really cool. One part. Example. This is from a beetle. Love beetles. One part. Example. For your convenience. And same with this guy. This is based on a something I forgot. Similar with this guy. They're a bit too big, or move up. There we go. Slightly. And again. So these final ones are all like the buggy bug, the non-biped ones. This one is this, but in pose. This is based on a web spider as well. And this is meant to be there. Bloody hell. Because this guy, sorry, is part of this set. But a biped version. Move him in. There we go. And then finally, these flea-like tick or something. Legs. There's a lot of them. So I've chosen that guy for now. Wings. We've got 11 wings with, I think, 2 or 3 variations. So this is A, B, and C. That's considered the same part. But I liked all 3, so this one being my favorite. Again, this one is see-through, which I prefer, and then it's variation, which has got the thing in. If you load both, they generally pose, they work well together like that. Turn both on. And this guy, I really like to pair with this one. They go well very beautifully, as you've probably seen from some of the cover art. You'll have to move them a bit, you know, W. Move them to where you like. But yeah. I only really start moving stuff properly once you've got a combo of what you like, and then, you know, go in there. We'll get to that. Very utilitarian, plain little bee legs, wings. I'll down control to copy them, or control shift D. So easy. Beautiful. I think these are praying mantis. They go well together as well. And then finally I've included this one as a wing. It's not wings, but you know what I mean. And that part as well. And then finally, I'm going to choose... just turn these on. Those two? Yeah. Spare parts. So these don't really fit. They're just there. They are parts that I don't count as the total. They're harvested from other heads. You know, just small little parts, which is really convenient to just quickly make any head of your choosing more gnarly, you know, more detailed parts that I thought would be cool to reuse. Antennas, you know, mouth bits. You zoom out a bit. And that says 30 miscellaneous parts. It fits quite well with this guy. Holy moly. They are generally in position. Interesting. I think they're more... Yeah. So let's go more insectoid, like let's turn the wings off. Remember, I'm alt clicking and I want different body. I'm not gonna do that one now. Let's do this one. Or this one. So, I don't want these arms. Alt click on them, and it's not coming up, which is great. Why do I keep moving that? In fact, I don't want any arms at all for the time being. Of course, before I switch, actually, let me turn this guy off as well. Now we got that. We don't want these legs. I really like doing this. Switch back to the arms. Make kind of a hunched over. Whoops, I have to alt click them, even if they're visible. Let's see if we can come up with something. No, not this guy. Something thinner. Ah, that'll work well. And then keep them on before I switch, otherwise you'll lose them. Not lose them, but it'll turn off again. So these guys are clipping. Really simple example, but I'm going to keep it simple for now. I mean, the whole pack is simple, it's just very big. But it's super easy to use, as you can see. And we can add the wings. Generally for these, we'll probably have to adjust after I've selected them. Alt click on that to reset the gizmo. Sure you get the idea. Change the arms. I'm just cycling through blindly. Ah, this will fit nicely. A bit smaller. I find with these insects really big, oversized arms generally look quite good, like that. So let's keep that on. Turn that off. Alt, drag any of these to change the pivot. If we want to pivot from the head generally, make it a bit bigger. Move it down. Yeah. Now let's move away from these kind of legs, finally. And these kind of arms. Collapse arms, just so I've... Oh, have I lost the bloody body? Apologies, guys. There we go. And we want... Let's go through the legs. So all these ones that earlier didn't fit well generally fits these types of bodies well. You know, like... Or they're in the right position. They'll need... I really like this. Give it some wings and it'll be gnarly extraordinaire. This one... No. This one needs moving, I see. So Alt, left click, drag. Alt click that just to make sure. Well, it doesn't really matter if it's a non-symmetrical thing. And it's as easy as that to quickly just play around and come up with stuff. Probably the fastest ever for insectoid stuff, I'd say. Highly detailed ones, rather. Okay. Let's move on. So those legs are in place for, of course, as you know, the other types of bodies. I really like this example. Don't autosave. These types fit everything. That works as well. That's another one of the fun things about this pack, I find, is getting that combination that just really kicks ass. It's like, oh yes, I've got it, this one works. You know, that's a great feeling when you've... Because not all parts are going to look cool always, you know, sometimes you have to... But generally, most of them do. A spider wasp. I want to quickly move to something briefly. Let's get rid of this head, because we've looked at it far too long. I just wish I could navigate easier in this thing, like Maya or something. But I find these... Sometimes a human head could look... This looks good. But some of them will look a bit silly on top of... That looks good. Let me get the gizmo out of the way. That doesn't look silly. That looks great. So the heads always fit all bodies. That's the main thing. The heads and bodies always fit. But sometimes... I'll tell you when I get to such an example. Damn it, they all look good. Well, not damn it. Stuff like, well, it still looks kind of cool, but for me, I find with these oriented bodies, it often works if you turn them looking up, like a spider or a scorpion would. Their heads generally face up. And then press it in so the eyes disappear. And you've got this nasty, insta-nasty. Move brush, get him out of the way. Like that. As soon as something has no eyes, it's always more terrifying. So that works well. The spare parts also works really well for this kind of situation. See, this looks silly to me. But if we just chuck him in there, silliness eliminated completely. Move that in. Awesome. Oh, there's 2 more eyes here. Blasted. I like it a lot. Let's move back to follow this curve a bit more. How easy is that to get something gnarly? Just like move brush and moving with the gizmo and selecting parts. I can play with this all day. Gonna undo that. This one works well on everything. I love these heads. This is based on a picture I found online, but I couldn't find the artist. So I apologize if he's watching, he or she. Please give me a note and I will credit. If you ever see this, I will happily say this was inspired by a drawing I saw someone made. This one works well on everything as well. I mean, they all work well on everything. I mean, just from the initial position it's in. I think it's time to move on to a different body. I love that one. So I'm not going to go through everything with everything. It's impossible. You know, it's infinite. We'll be here for 20,000 million hours. And we don't have that time. Choose that. And they generally fit the spider legs, all these bodies. Look at that. Except this guy, he uses the cast. You need to manually get stuff in there. But otherwise, see, all of these fit these. Look, a bee spider. Hercules beetle spider and a little chunky bug. Let's make a complete scorpion. Why not? Let's get rid of this guy. Yeah, we want legs. Ooh, I've not mixed these two together yet. Yes. Anyway, that'll need a bit more work to make it look cool. That particular config I'm looking for. Let's have a look at these. I think they're all over the place, to be honest. No, they're not. They're sensibly organized. Can you believe it? And you can pose those and go crazy. Let's move on. Ooh, yep, perfect. These are the legs of a blah, 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 whatever. Legs of something. Tarantula scorpion. There we go. We've come home. Pop that on. And now we want some pincers. Arms. These guys, yep. Oh, it's a bit big, isn't it? I'm going to use these ones. I mean, the focus of this pack was obviously not to focus too much on conventional insects, but I had to add the classics. Well, this is not an insect, it's an arachnid, but it's insectoid in aesthetic, which insectoid is only an aesthetic, right? It's not a scientific term, it's a aesthetic term. So you'll have to move the legs about. So in this case, this one will be better. Alt, click. There we go. Nice little slots. Not that that should be your limiting factor, but keep that, turn it on. So we can either chuck some spare parts in there. I'm sure it's obvious how you'd use that, which I'm not going to do now. Let's have a look. This could probably be really quick. Yeah, done. No, not really. Yeah, let's use that as well. Why not? Yeah. Yeah, just everything everywhere. See how easy it is to just gnarl it up. Shredding the gnarl. Where's this guy? If you can't see it, just isolate. Oh, we need eyes. We absolutely want these eyes. So you can see this part was harvested from that part. Should really separate them. Oh well. Look at that. Keep that as well. That was unexpected. This is another thing I love about this pack is it is absolutely unexpected. It's getting a bit much now. I mean, it'll be easy to turn. No, it's never too much. So as you can see, the spare parts are generally designed for these guys. No, they're designed... I take that back. They're designed for everything in the pack. Everything is for everything, but they really initially fit these types of bodies well. But you can apply them anywhere. This looks really cool. More scorpion-esque type. I think I'm not going to give him antennas, as that'll make him look a bit more lovable, and we don't want him to look lovable. So what else do we need to talk about? It's a long video, isn't it? I'm sorry, this is so big. Let's say this is what you want to work with now. For an example, like you don't want to keep saving this file with all these other parts in there. So then you can just go to merge visible, and it creates a new subtool, which is just these guys. The problem is that it's all one thing now, so I'm going to delete that. So that is one way to do it, and it's legit. The other way is to restart from the top, the body. Is to unparent all the parts. So just move it out. Then go delete all. This is undoable. You can't undo this. I mean, you can't undo this. So be sure. I mean, you can always reload but this will get rid of that whole folder. Do the same with heads. Just move it out, and then delete all. And do that with all the parts you don't want for the time being, you know, once you're happy. Okay, so we have, that's the master subtool file. So if we go to the product, so we have OBJs for people who don't use Zbrush or for Blender or whatever other programs you want. We've got all of these folders, but they're separate and inside these zip files, centered to the world and so on. Then we have 7 insert mesh brushes. Again, all these folders, except we have 2 leg versions. One that's both legs or many leg on either side, and one that's only one-sided legs. You'd probably use the mirrored one most. And this time I've made a PDF guide, which I think that's nice, and pressing F11 does nothing. Great. Which is just links to requirements, installations, straightforward stuff, tips, and most importantly, I'd think in this guide would be the guide to the visual chart, which is this. Sorry, it's really slow at the moment. Here we go. So this is for people who don't have ZBrush, especially if you're using OBJs. You can just quickly, I've made them slightly stylized, well, quite stylized, so you can quickly see the shape. I want this one, so that's the OBJ you import. So every single part here is, I'm going to use page down instead, is listed. And a nice little pretty PDF guide with some other information. Okay, I've unzipped arms and head. So let's, I'm pressing F2, load brush, navigate to wherever you've downloaded them. So let's load heads. So again, you've got, how many? 61 heads. So 41 base, 20 varieties. If you press M, this is actually better to use, easier to use. Gives you a bigger view and very, very handy. So generally, press X to have symmetry on, it's from the start. And I just go to the middle and drag it out. Move it in position. I will usually, if I worked with INSEKt as a whole, I generally use the master subtool like we just did for the last almost hour. It's just everything's in the right place. It's just way easier to use. The insert mesh has its use, of course, if you're going to use it with other products or other content or your own content where you don't want to be in the master subtool file. It's fantastic for that. Or to augment the, this guy. So this can be buggy. If you press W and now you want to cycle, just use the left to right arrows. And it doesn't always work, which doesn't. There we go. And they sometimes get offset. Zbrush has always been like that. It does my head in. I just undo if that starts happening and just write a new one. Go to the center. And so on. You get the idea. Or 2 heads is better than 1. That looks completely moronic. Okay. So that's that. Let's load. Sorry. F2, load a brush, not a subtool. Arms, it's one-sided to save disk space, so it'll only be 1 if symmetry's off. And they're designed to be applied from the side, like that. Holding Alt, click. Just move them into position. I'm sure you get the idea. Let's see if this works with cycling. No, I'm not going to use cycling. It just sucks. It fucking sucks. There, I said it. I love Zbrush so much, but yeah, fix that already. I think it's if you've... the cycling goes wrong if you've moved the gizmo's pivot point. Let's explore that. I bet you that's it. So I'm just gonna not change. I'm just gonna move it. And now press the left and right arrow keys. Nope, that made no difference. So don't cycle. I'd rather kill myself. Well, it's not that bad, but it's... Yeah, just M, choose what you want. It's probably the easiest. Like, I want this one from the side. Legs should be from the front, by the way. And there you go. But I do recommend turning these on and off instead. But whatever floats your boat. Clearing a mask can take a while sometimes if there's all these subtools in the scene. It's F2, let's choose our head. Just choose Snozzy. And so on. Same with the wings and the legs. I don't have them unzipped at the moment, but actually let me get the legs. Right, so I've unzipped the legs. Pressing M. See, what do we want? Well, you've seen them all now. Whatever, let's get these ones. So from the front, symmetry off for the mirrored legs. Or that can be on as long as you're in the middle. And just drag. Okay, whatever. Alt. Turn off perspective just so I can get the legs straight. Turn it back on. I like to... Flat color is great for checking your silhouette. Zoom out far. I do this all the time. And if anything looks weird, it'll stand out like a sore thumb. That looks pretty good to me. Clear the mask. And that's, you know, you all know how to use insert meshes, but again, I recommend cycling through these instead. Quite like this guy. Looks mean. In fact, let me do a render. So I think that's about it. You guys get the idea. Go make some ill shit. I'm very, very happy with this pack, and I hope you are too. I mean, there's infinite amounts of characters you can get from this, or combined with other packs of your choosing. Not just mine, like anything, whatever you like. Just use just the heads, whatever. So I thank you very much for joining me in this long video. Not a problem that it's so long. I just thought I'd show you absolutely everything that's in the pack. So 1 master subtool file, and then 7 insert meshes, and a PDF guide. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time. Cheers.